What's going on, sci-fi fans? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for another episode of our Raider ATST here on Sci-Fi Wednesdays. Now I know I haven't been on the sci-fi kick in a while, at least not since, well, last year, but I've been really itching to get back on this and I thought today, let's go ahead and just see what we can do. I've always kind of thought of the sci-fi series as a bit more of a palate cleanser, and I've been working on a very difficult kit in the Kitty Hawk F9F-8P Photo-Cougar, so I need a little bit of a break from that, so I decided to jump back on the ATST. So what we have here is a basic model kit already airbrushed and primed in a whole red. So we're going to move on to some weathering. Now, the first thing I want to go ahead and try to do today is I'm going to try to incorporate using this chipping solution. This is actually a lighter chipping solution. It's made for light scratches, very small chips. It's not that heavy chipping solution, so I don't know how this is going to work, but I want to go ahead and try it out. I don't want a lot of really distressed paint. I want to kind of come in there and just kind of wear down the edges and maybe streak it a little bit here and there. I want to try to do some other weathering techniques a little later, like some oil washes and some rain streaks and all that stuff, maybe some paint chipping as well. So I want to do other things, but I think this will be an interesting way to kind of start it off and to see how it works and starts kind of coming together. I've actually never used any form of chipping solution before, so I have no idea how this is going to work. Now, in terms of the gray color for the turret and the main body, we're going to go ahead and use Dark Gull Grey by Vallejo. I think that's going to be a really nice shade of gray. I've also got a lighter USAF gray that I could use for maybe some shading and whatnot. So I think that's going to be a really good move to make. So let's go ahead and switch over to our spray booth and start the whole process. All right, everybody, we are over here on our spray booth. We've got our lights set up and let's go ahead and bring out that ATST and see what we can do. I'm going to start off with just a very light coating of our chipping solution. And once I get this chipping solution applied, we then come back with a little bit of our dark gull gray and overcoat the turret, little mini sub hole, and one of the thighs. Then I think at that point we'll be decent. So let's go ahead and jump into a time lapse and, well, just fingers crossed, guys. Let's see what we can do. Let's have some fun. Alright, everybody, we are back and we have our chipping solution and our top coat applied here on the model. I tried to keep both of them very light. Didn't want to go too heavy on either of those coats. All we have left to do, grab our brushes, grab some lukewarm tap water, just see if we can't scrub off some of the paint. Now I've got 3 different brushes here, all kind of varying in their stiffness, and this is probably the softest of the 3 brushes I've got, and I figured I would just kind of experiment and focus on the edges of all the raised detail. Then once I kind of have that, more or less, I'm going to switch over to the other brush. It's a little bit stiffer and we'll get a bit more aggressive and try to remove maybe a little bit more of the paint. And then once that's done and I'm happy with that, I'll come back with the really stiff brush that I've got and then start doing larger areas. Now, like I said, I've never done this before. I have no idea how this is going to work. Plus, it's not a heavy chipping solution. It's just meant for light scratches and slight wearing. So it's not going to look really distressed, but that's okay. I think it's still going to be a nice base to work from. So let's go ahead and jump into our second time lapse and let's see if we can't go ahead and chip this model and get it looking a little bit used and abused. right, everybody. So the chipping solution worked, I think, decently. It's not the easiest solution to use, and I really don't know what I'm doing with it, but I like how this is looking. It is a very subtle effect. So I think we're going to leave that for right now. We're going to switch over to paint. Now we've got to go ahead and paint the entire leg on this side, on the left side, with this RLM23 red. And then on the other side, just from that joint down, is going to be the whole red. So let's go ahead and jump back over to the spray booth and get these last couple of parts all painted up. Okay, everybody, we are back, and this is how the ATST is looking right now. We've got the different colored legs, we've got the different colored hull and turret, so I think it looks interesting. We'll put it like that. The RLM23 red here on the left leg actually looks pretty nice. I like that, and on the right leg, from that joint down, we have the hull red by Tamiya. We're going to have to come in and do some heavy weathering on both of these legs. I don't know how to do that. I'm not really adept at weathering, so that's going to be a challenge, but I think we can go ahead and kind of work with this as more or less a base to add additional weathering procedures and different techniques and all that. So I think, you know what, it's not great, but I think it's a good place to start. The chipping solution itself worked all right. Again, it was for light scratches. It wasn't the heavy chipping fluid. So I tried to go ahead and basically add in some scratches that run horizontally and vertically, add a little bit extra, maybe it pushed through brush or something or some trees and it kind of scratched the paint. I did wear down different edges. I didn't want to go too stark, but there's very little on the bottom hull section. So we're going to have to come in here and try to figure out how best to go ahead and dirty that down. And then of course we have a lot of detail painting to do in terms of the white markings that are kind of over the front of the turret, side of the turret, and then down the legs. So I think that's going to be challenging. I'm not sure how ready to paint those on. But I think that's going to be it for us today, guys. You know, I really enjoyed getting back on the Sci-Fi kit. I always think of Sci-Fi as a bit more of a palette cleanser, so it's nice to be able to start building something or continue building something that's just kind of for fun. So far we are moving right along. I did use that chipping solution today, and for light scratches and weathering effects, it worked okay. I'm no expert at weathering, and I'm definitely not an expert at using chipping solution, but I think I could incorporate that into future builds and have a bit of success with it. Like everything, it's practice makes perfect, guys. So until our next episode, you guys know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we will see you back here on the next episode of the Raider ATST here on Sci-Fi Wednesdays. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you soon.